In the bustling markets of Accra, a boy named Quame dreamed of more than survival. Little did he know, his path to millions would lead him to a sleepy American town on the brink of collapse, where one decision changes everything. Quame Nkosi was born under the relentless sun of a small village in Ghana, where the red earth clung to his bare feet like a promise of hardship. His mother, a weaver of vibrant kente cloth, would sit by the fire at night, her fingers dancing over threads as she told stories of ancestors who built empires from nothing. His father, a farmer scratching life from parched soil, taught him the value of every seed planted, every drop of sweat earned. Life was a rhythm of survival, fetching water from the distant well at dawn, helping tend the cassava fields until dusk, and dreaming under a sky littered with stars that seemed just out of reach. Quame was the youngest of 7 siblings, each one a testament to his parents' unyielding hope, despite the poverty that wrapped around their home like a thorny vine. School was a luxury, a one-room hut where a single teacher juggled lessons for children of all ages, but Quame absorbed knowledge like the dry earth-soaked rain. He learned to read from tattered books donated by missionaries, his mind expanding beyond the village horizons. At 10, he sold mangoes at the roadside market, haggling with traders twice his age, saving every sadie in a buried tin can. One day, he'd whisper to himself, I'll plant seeds that grow into forests. Tragedy struck when he was 12. A drought withered the crops and his father fell ill, the family's fragile balance shattering. Quame took on more, rising before the roosters to work odd jobs, carrying loads for merchants, repairing bicycles with scavenged parts. His mother's eyes, once bright, dimmed with worry, but she urged him, "Kindness is the richest currency, my son. Give and the world gives back." Those words etched into his soul. By 16, Quame ventured to Accra, the chaotic capital pulsing with opportunity and peril. He slept on the streets at first, dodging pickpockets and hustlers, but his sharp mind landed him a job as a clerk in a small export firm dealing in cocoa beans. He observed everything: how beans were graded, shipped, profited from. Nights were for study. He borrowed books on agriculture and business, scribbling notes by candlelight. His breakthrough came at 20 when he proposed a better drying method to his boss, increasing yield by 20%. Promoted, he saved relentlessly, investing in a tiny plot of land back home, experimenting with sustainable farming, drip irrigation from recycled materials, organic fertilizers from compost. He turned barren soil fertile. Word spread. Neighbors adopted his techniques, yields doubled. Quame's first million came from exporting his improved cocoa to Europe, branding it as eco-gold for its ethical sourcing. But success wasn't just numbers. He built a school in his village, hired locals, remembering his mother's words. At 30, a billionaire in sustainable agribusiness, Quame's empire spanned Africa, farms in Kenya, processing plants in Nigeria, partnerships in South Africa. Yet emptiness lingered. Wealth without purpose is like rain in the desert gone too soon, he confided to his wife Amina, a teacher he'd met in university. They had 2 children, but Quame yearned to give beyond borders. In 2015, an invitation arrived: speak at a global sustainability conference in New York. America, land of dreams and contradictions, beckoned. He boarded the plane, gazing at the Atlantic, unaware it bridged his past to a town's future. Landing in JFK, the skyscrapers awed him, but he craved authenticity. Renting a car, he drove west, away from the glamour, toward the heartland. Ohio's rolling fields reminded him of home, but signs of decay emerged: shuttered factories, potholed roads, weary faces. Willow Creek, a dot on the map, caught his eye, a faded sign reading population 5,000, welcome home. He stopped for gas. The station attendant, an elderly man named Earl, grumbled about the town's woes. Used to be thriving with the mill, but it closed 10 years back. Kids leaving, schools falling apart, libraries a joke, half the books moldy. Quame nodded, buying coffee, his mind stirring. Driving through, he saw the library, a squat building with peeling paint, windows cracked, steps crumbling. Children played outside, but inside, shelves sagged under neglect. He entered. The librarian, Miss Harper, a woman in her 50s with tired eyes, greeted him warmly. Visitor, rare these days. Funding's dried up, can't even afford new books or repairs. Quame browsed, picking a worn copy of Things Fall Apart, smiling at the irony. As he left, a child, maybe 8, tugged his sleeve. "Mister, do you have stories from far away?" The boy's eyes, hungry for wonder, mirrored Quame's childhood. That night in a modest motel, Quame couldn't sleep. Amina's voice echoed via call, "Follow your heart, love." The next morning, he returned to the library, checkbook in hand. "How much to fix this place?" he asked Miss Harper. Stunned, she stammered, 20,000 for basics, roof, books, computers. Quame wrote a check for 50,000. "Make it thrive," he said simply, no fanfare. As he drove away, he felt a quiet joy, unaware this seed would grow into a forest. Back in Ghana, business boomed, but Willow Creek lingered in his thoughts. Letters arrived months later. "You've sparked something," Miss Harper wrote. The library reopened, gleaming, stocked with global tailies. Children flocked, parents volunteered. But that was just the beginning. Quame's act, simple as a planted seed, had taken root. Volunteers organized reading programs, drawing in donors. A local businessman matched funds for a community center. Schools improved, test scores rose. Unemployment dipped as entrepreneurs emerged, inspired by stories of far-off success. Quame visited again, incognito, seeing the change. Laughter in streets once silent, gardens blooming where weeds ruled. He smiled, his mother's words proven. Yet challenges arose, not all embraced change. Old rivalries flared, skeptics doubted the foreigner's gift. Quame returned, speaking at a town hall, sharing his story, from dirt floors to boardrooms. "Kindness isn't charity, it's investment in humanity." Tears flowed, barriers broke. Bonds formed, transcending oceans. Willow Creek began exporting crafts, partnering with Quame's firm. Jobs returned, families stayed. The town renamed the library Nkosi Haven, a symbol of hope. Quame's life intertwined with theirs. He funded scholarships, mentored youth via video calls. One boy, the one who'd asked for stories, dreamed of Africa. Years passed, Quame's empire grew, but Willow Creek's transformation was his true legacy. From a simple check, a town reborn, forever changed by kindness's quiet power. The library's grand reopening in Willow Creek was a spectacle unlike any the town had seen in decades, with balloons fluttering in the crisp autumn breeze and the scent of fresh paint mingling with barbecue from the community grill. Ms. Harper stood at the podium, her voice trembling with emotion as she unveiled the plaque. "Nkosi Haven, a gift from across the seas." The crowd, a mix of wide-eyed children, grateful parents, and curious elders, erupted in applause, but few knew the full story of the man behind it. Quame Nkosi, watching from afar via a live stream in his Ghanaian office, felt a surge of humility. "It's not about me," he murmured to Amina, who squeezed his hand. "It's about what grows from it." Back in Willow Creek, the ripple began subtly. The new computers hummed with activity as kids researched global cultures, inspired by books Quame had donated, tales from African folklore to American innovators. One girl, Sarah, 12, an orphan, discovered coding through online tutorials, her fingers flying over keys that once gathered dust. Parents noticed the change. Evenings filled with stories instead of screens, conversations sparking dreams. Earl, the gas station attendant, volunteered to read to toddlers, his gruff voice softening as he shared adventures. But transformation wasn't linear. Winter brought storms, the improved roof held but budget strained. A town meeting revealed deeper issues. The old mill's shadow loomed, unemployment at 30%. "The library's nice," grumbled Tom, a laid-off worker, "but it don't pay bills." Ms. Harper, undeterred, proposed a workshop series, business skills, drawing from Quame's model. Word reached Quame. He sent resources, videos on sustainable farming, grants for startups. Sarah's coding club grew, attracting teens who built apps for local needs like a barter system for goods. Spring bloomed with promise. A farmer, inspired by eco-gold stories, converted land to organic crops, partnering with Quame's network. Exports trickled, then flowed. Willow Creek greens in Ohio markets, then nationwide. Jobs emerged: packing, delivery, marketing. The town council, energized, applied for federal grants, citing the library as proof of revival. Quame visited again, this time openly, greeted like a hero. He toured the farms, sharing tips, his laughter echoing in fields. At a banquet he spoke, "Kindness is a seed, community waters it." Bonds deepened. Cultural exchanges began, Ghanaian drummers via Zoom, American recipes shared. Challenges persisted, jealousy from outsiders, a scandal when funds were mismanaged briefly. Quame advised transparency, turning crisis to lesson. Years unfolded. Sarah graduated top of her class, scholarship to MIT funded by Quame. She returned, starting a tech hub in the old mill, employing hundreds. The population swelled to 8,000, schools expanded, crime dropped. Willow Creek became a model, the kindness town featured in magazines. Quame's act inspired globally, similar initiatives in other towns. In Ghana, he built sister programs, bridging worlds. Retiring at 60, Quame reflected, "One check, infinite change." Willow Creek's mayor unveiled a statue, Quame with open hands. "Forever changed," the inscription read. Generations later, stories passed, how a stranger's kindness turned despair to destiny. The ripple, endless, proved humanity's interconnected web. If this story moved you, imagine the inspiration from our weekly tales of real-world heroes and heartwarming journeys. Subscribe now to the channel for more engaging scripts, motivational content, and exclusive behind the scenes. Hit that bell icon. Don't miss out on changing your perspective one story at a time.